Lesson 7, Foodborne Illness. There are 3 categories of foodborne illness: infection, intoxication, and toxin-mediated infection. Foodborne infection. Foodborne illness is caused by eating food that contain large numbers of microorganisms, which then enter the human digestive tract and disrupt the functions of the intestines, resulting in diarrhea and other problems. The severity of the problem depends on the amount ingested and the particular bacterium. The first symptoms of infection occur from as early as 6 hours to as long as 48 hours after the contaminated food is eaten. Foodborne intoxication. Foodborne intoxication is caused by eating food that contains toxins generated by certain microorganisms. The longer a microorganism is on a food, the more time it has to multiply and produce its waste products. These waste products are toxins and result in intoxication when that food is eaten. It is important to note that foodborne intoxication will cause nausea and vomiting, either immediately after the food is eaten or within the first 6 hours. Toxins are not destroyed by heat, okay? So you can't burn them out. Once they are formed, no amount of cooking will inactivate them, okay? So you can't burn or cook out the toxins. You gotta throw it out. Foodborne toxin-mediated infection. Foodborne toxin-mediated infection occurs when food that has microorganisms on it is ingested. These microorganisms find favorable growth conditions in the intestines and produce toxins that will then cause a foodborne illness. Okay, so the difference between intoxication and mediated is that intoxication is when you get sick from the chemicals, toxins released by the bacteria or the microorganisms. And mediated infection is when it rests in your intestines and then releases the toxin. Okay, so mediated infection referring to a body part. Common foodborne illnesses. Salmonellosis. This illness occurs after eating food contaminated by the Salmonella bacteria. Salmonella may be found naturally in a product such as raw chicken, or it can be introduced to a food product through poor, and I mean poor, food handling practice. This is one of the most frequently reported foodborne infections. Organisms responsible. Salmonella enteritis. Source: animals, poultry, eggs, and humans. Foods involved: chicken, poultry, and eggs. Onset time: 6 to 48 hours. Infection or intoxication. Type: infection. Symptoms: abdominal pain, diarrhea, chills, fever, nausea, vomiting, and malaise. Remember, infection is when you have a lot of microorganisms on the food and they cause the illness. So when they say infection, they are referring to number. Remember from that first page what that was. Okay? Control measures: cook chicken, poultry, and stuffing to a minimum of 165 degrees Fahrenheit for at least 15 seconds. This will destroy the microorganism. 2. Refrigerate raw chicken, poultry, other meats, and fish at 41 degrees Fahrenheit or lower. This slows the growth of microorganisms and ensures that it does not multiply to dangerous levels. Remember the storage and refrigeration processes to keep food safe. Pay special attention to eggs. Store shell eggs in a refrigerator that is 41 degrees Fahrenheit or lower. Always cook them to 145 degrees Fahrenheit unless a customer requests otherwise. Break and cook eggs to order. Use, and I mean use, pasteurized eggs instead of raw eggs if a food is not going to be cooked to at least 145 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so if it's not going to be cooked at 145, you need to use the pasteurized eggs. Okay, you got to heat them. Avoid transferring the microorganism that is normally found on a raw food item to a food that is already cooked. This is called cross-contamination and can be prevented in the following ways. So cross-contamination is when you take microorganisms from raw foods and put it on something that's cooked. You can accidentally do that. You got to remember how to avoid that. Okay, here's the ways. Wash your hands thoroughly after handling raw products and before handling cooked products. 2. Ensure that there is no direct hand contact with a food that is ready to be eaten. Use gloves, tongs, deli paper, and other utensils when handling food that are ready to be eaten. Wash, rinse, and sanitize cutting boards, dishes, and utensils after using with raw products and before using with cooked products. In refrigerated storage, place cooked foods on the upper shelves and raw products on the lower shelves. All right, so cook on top, raw on the bottom when refrigerating. Okay, next. Campylobacteriosis. Okay, so campylobacteriosis. This is a foodborne infection of bacterial origin that occurs when eating contaminated food. These bacteria are found in the intestines of sheep, pigs, cattle, and poultry, and are spread during the slaughter and processing of these animals. This illness is now more commonly reported than salmonellosis. Okay, so campylobacteriosis is more common than salmonella. Organism responsible: Campylobacter jejuni. Source: intestine of sheep, pigs, cattle, and poultry. Foods involved: raw milk, poultry, beef, liver, and water. Onset: 2 to 10 days. Intoxication or infection. It is also an infection, okay? The microorganisms that's crowding around this food, all right? Symptoms: diarrhea, often bloody, severe abdominal pain, fever, loss of appetite, malaise, headache, and vomiting, okay? Control measures, all right? How to get rid of this or control this. Properly sanitize equipment to prevent cross-contamination, all right? Next. Thoroughly cook meat, poultry, and seafood. Next, use only pasteurized milk. And next, use potable water. All right, pasteurized milk is milk that is heated up. Okay, it's to like 165 degrees Fahrenheit to get rid of the bacteria. That's what pasteurized milk is. All right, next, 4. Listeriosis. These bacteria are excreted in the feces of infected food animals and poultry. Raw vegetables grown on contaminated soil, dairy products, and raw meats from contaminated animals are responsible for its spread. This is particularly serious for pregnant women, as it can cause miscarriages and stillbirths. It may also cause mental retardation and death of newborn infants. I'm not going to say nothing about that. Organism responsible: Listeria monocytogenes. Source: soil, infected animals or humans, and water. Foods involved: unpasteurized milk, raw vegetables, poultry, raw meat, and cheese. Onset: 1 day to 3 weeks. Intoxication or infection. Infection. Symptoms: low-grade fever, flu-like illness, stillbirths, meningitis, and encephalitis can be fatal. Encephalitis when your head blows up. You have swelling in the head, in the brain. Control measures. Cook foods thoroughly to the required temperatures. Next, use pasteurized milk and dairy products. Next, thoroughly wash raw vegetables before eating. And last, keep facilities clean and dry.